Hi, everyone. Welcome to Experiencing Innovation and Entrepreneurial Leadership. This session is on the zone. And many of you have heard that if you're familiar with or you're a sports fan, and they use it a lot in talking with athletes when they're just performing amazingly. And they say that they're in the zone. And there's a lot of people who describe the zone, who have talked about it as a flow state, different ways of describing it. To me, the zone is when everything is in slow motion, it feels effortless, and time basically stands still. It's not a deterring factor at all. In fact, it is a factor that's just not even thought of. And therefore, that what a person is experiencing is performance, that they're experiencing intelligent breakthroughs. And so I've heard and seen a lot of people describe the zone, but I haven't seen a lot of people say, how do you get into the zone? We know why, because everyone wants to perform better outcomes, better intelligent outcomes. They want to do better. That's not the issue. The issue is they don't know how to get into the zone, or how to put someone in the zone, or how to put themselves in the zone, or how to get someone else into the zone. So through my study and research, I've noticed that this can be applied also to the workplace. The workplace right now, if you're an executive, if you're department in your business unit, on your team, whoever you may be, a leader, just someone who is wanting to make your organization, your team, the people in your team individually and collectively better, to produce the better outcomes or better intelligent outcomes. This can apply, because companies, businesses, teams, it doesn't matter. Everyone's right now is really focused on how to keep the capacity of an individual performing, and ideally in the zone, or if not ideally, but more often. For me, I am in the zone a lot more often now than I used to be in the past. And that's because I use my tools and because of the research and study I do. And so this tool can come into a workplace, into an environment, into a culture, and it can really, really help your individuals as well as your team. So individually and collectively, therefore helping with human and organizational performance. Now, what this is not is that it is not a process that's standalone, okay, to go and create some kind of performance outcome. That's not what it is. And it's not solely a performance outcome to measure effectiveness, and not a process. It's actually what I call a performance process. So whatever your process may be, or your performance metrics are, however you do that, and most people say, well, we focus on the process and then the performance will come to us, or we'll work on that, and that makes sense. Obviously, they know where they want to go with their performance. However, why I call this a performance process is because it's bi-directional. You have the performance and then the process, and it's bi-directional, and they communicate with one another. So whatever it is that you're doing, that's perfectly valid. You've done quite a bit of work, and you're always making slight adjustments, or even creating innovation to naturally create positive change. That's there. But what are you doing to perform in the zone more often? And so these are some of the tools that I use. And what I like about my tools, at least most of them, they can be used in different types of environments, organizations, industries, teams. It doesn't really matter. because I'm really just focused on human performance and life breakthroughs and therefore organizational performance. And why is this important to innovation in entrepreneurial leadership? Well, there are several reasons. One is, and the main reason is that in innovation and entrepreneurial leadership, the reason that a lot of people struggle with it or even maybe too challenged with it is simply because they don't have the tools and they haven't learned those tools or learned from each other to apply the learning. And of course, you're the one who has your creative, innovative idea or ideas, but then you have a criteria to make sure that they have high value, right? And then after that, as you're doing it, well, at least for me, I don't want to struggle. I don't want to be overly challenged. That just causes a lot of other factors that take the capacity of me to perform away, like stress, anxiety, pressure, frustration, nervousness, worry. I mean, it causes a lot of these factors that really diminish your capacity to perform in the zone more often. And so what my tool does, and you can go and look at the previous video that I did to see a more detailed explanation of my tool, but I'll briefly go over it. The zone I have divided into 4 stages. The first stage is you think your performance cue and see slow motion. So that means that that's a sub-process. Think performance cue and see slow motion. Then the second stage is the stage where you feel performance cue, power, and control. This is where you feel that you have the confidence, the ability, the power and control to direct it in the direction that you want to direct it. And if there's a challenge that comes up, then you know how to address that. Then you have emotion, arousal, emotion and arousal, fun and enjoyment. And what this means is that it's got to have an element of fun and enjoyment, right? And so there has to be some intrinsic, or there must be intrinsic motivation and inspiration. There's a relationship between motivation and inspiration, and there must be some incentive, right? We all want to do something that's better, intelligent outcomes, either for us or for someone else or for our team, or if we've already accomplished that, we're helping someone to do that with whatever services or products that we're providing, okay? And then the last stage is physical movement. So I separated it into 4 stages, so it looks like it goes along this timeline. However, as you become more effective and efficient at it, and you really start to be in the zone more often, you'll see that these compress in time to where you could put the visual, my visual for the zone, in a vertical order instead of a horizontal order. And then this will move the zone as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing or wanting to accomplish your clear goals and aspirations. And so that's essential for you to understand this, because a lot of what you're doing, you are able to do it. However, there are performance factors that are either most likely either helping you or they're inhibiting you. And it could be anything from one of your teammates being intrusive and you thinking they're intrusive and they thinking they're not being intrusive, and then not knowing how to communicate that, which is obviously a communication challenge. And then there's conflict resolution, but then there's also just that idea of learn from each other and apply the learning. Because yeah, it's real easy to say, oh, we don't want that. But no one's ever really talked with the other person about what exactly this is, and to really have that communication, because I know in innovation, to create natural positive change, it's not just a matter of what you want and don't want. Now, once you obviously have agreed to a strategy and you're continuing to go forward with it, obviously it's a little easier to know what you want and don't want. However, because it's innovation and because no one can really know exactly what will happen, we have to be able to innovate and improvise as we're moving along, right? And so that can create a lot of things that are very positive. And that's the positive change aspect of innovation, or the unexpected success aspect. And so the reason to use my tool, another reason, is because you really don't want to be overly challenged or struggle or even suffer doing this whole thing, because you would much rather do it with the right tools, skill set, and be able to work the right way and be in the zone more often, so that you can do it with fulfillment, more ease, fun, and enjoyment. Obviously, anyone would want that. But what does that do for you? It does a whole lot for you. A lot. First of all, your better intelligent outcomes are going to be much greater. You're going to be more effective and efficient. Your relationships, just interpersonally, whether it's with colleagues or with your family or your friends, they're going to be a lot better. And then another thing is that you're going to really understand that it's not the number of hours that you put in. And you hear the stories about entrepreneurs and how it's so hard and you got to really struggle. And it is challenging, and there are times when you do struggle like that. I don't have I'm not saying I have a cure for that. What I am saying is that a lot of that is self-imposed. And the reason it's self-imposed is because the performance tools are not there. And so this is the tool that I use, which I call a performance process tool, and it's the zone. So a lot of people describe the zone. However, there's very few, in fact, I don't really know anyone who has a tool that says how to get into the zone, or how to put myself into the zone or someone else into the zone. And so this is a tool that you can apply so that you can experience intelligent breakthroughs with fulfillment, fun, and enjoyment, and more ease. And so really, what's really the outcome? The real outcome is you're living well, consistently performing, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs with fulfillment, more ease, fun, and enjoyment. That is worth pursuing. That really is worth pursuing. And in the workplace, that's huge, because right now a lot of workplaces, companies are challenged with, how do I keep my employees at capacity so that they don't burn out, so that there isn't stress and anxiety and tension and tiredness and worry and all of the things that employers are struggling with now, and then that's obviously affecting their ability to effectively, efficiently perform. And it's also affecting the culture and the workplace and the morale in the workplace, because the healthcare costs are going up. All of those things are happening, and it's going to take someone who really understands the performance process of this, so that they can come in and really guide the individual as well as the team on the performance process and the tool, and how to apply that tool. And of course, companies are already doing some of that with some of the things that they're doing with wellness. However, this is a tool that you can use consistently with anything that you're doing. Anything, whether it's at work, outside of work, whether it's for any industry, whether it's for doing software development, being a medical doctor, being an athlete, being an executive, being a coach, whatever it may be. And it doesn't matter what industry, for innovation, for entrepreneurial leadership, for working in manufacturing, it really doesn't matter. And so that is the tool. And I'll have a visual of this in our group. And then for those of you who aren't in our group, you can see the visual because I'll add it to the video before I post it. And I want to apologize for having to re-record this. We had a technical difficulty and was not able to record it yesterday. And so what's another example of this? This is innovation in entrepreneurial leadership. And my example is more from a medical example. I've been working on and thinking through, and this is really the second time that I've talked about it. However, I've briefly written about it. And it is the flow of energy is the zone, which is what I just explained, is homeostasis, which is basically a person who has no symptoms, so therefore they're well. Is living well, consistently performing, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs with more ease, fun, and enjoyment. So if you're in the medical field, and in a way we all are, because it's so pertinent to us and we need to learn more about the medical and the health so that we can be in the zone more often, because obviously that plays a major factor. So thinking of what I just said, the flow of energy, and especially if you're a medical doctor or someone directly involved with research, what is it from a neuron, cell, enzyme, hormone, blood flow, all of the medical terms that would keep the flow of energy going or keep energy flowing? So that flow of energy, okay, if we have that flow of energy, and then that is the zone. So what are your greatest dreams, vision, mission, clear goals, aspirations? And then that is homeostasis, because now you're health-wise, you are very healthy. There are no aches and pains. There are no symptoms whatsoever. And then that is living well, consistently performing, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs with more ease, fun, and enjoyment. So think about that, because that's what I've been working on, and how to keep that energy flowing from a medical perspective. What does it take to do that on a cellular level, neuron level, in your enzymes, hormones, blood flow, all of the medical aspects? Create endorphins, neurotransmitters. What does that look like to you? What does that make you think of? What are the better intelligent outcomes you can create from what I just said? What can be better? And that's where your profession, your expertise, you know more about that. I'm really providing the tool to help you to think through that. And then the zone part, obviously I have the tool there. And then we have homeostasis, and then we have the live well, consistently performing, experiencing intelligent breakthroughs with fulfillment, more ease, fun, and enjoyment. And so the other thing that I'm working on is relating that to Einstein's theory of relativity. So E equals mc squared. So if we look at that and we make that equation, and we say that mass is energy divided by the speed of light squared, well, medically, what does that look like? Right? What does that look like? And what does that tell you about a person and their ability to live more number of years? So that's something I'm working on and still thinking through. And it's real interesting, and if you're someone out there who wants to discuss that and talk with me about that, I would like you to contact me for sure, and we can definitely do that and talk about it in more detail. And then if something in here resonated with you and you want to have me come in or work with you individually, work with your team, your organization, and really help you with the performance process of using this tool, the zone, then I'd be glad to talk with you about that and what is the best solution, how we can learn from each other to apply the learning so that I can create the better intelligent outcomes for you to experience. And my phone number is 864-569-2315. And then also you can visit my website, which is motivateyourresults.com. And then if you go to my website, you'll see this tool somewhere on my blog. You'll also see a lot of other videos that are absolutely free. I'm giving those to you for you to think for better intelligent outcomes. And those tools are really what are helping you to get to that. And you're putting your abilities, your mastery to that. And so if you want to go further with that and resonate with you towards your specific situation, you can contact me. And I hope you have a meaningful trigger. I know that last night I did. Today, of course, I've already started my day. But last night I went and watched or refereed soccer. And although the World Cup's on, when I went and refereed, before I would referee, and I would think that these guys are very competitive as far as them wanting to win, and they're on various levels. I don't think many played professional soccer, some did, and then there's a few college, and then high school, and then rec, so it's a combination. And you know, for them, when I had the mind that this is their World Cup, because they're most probably not ever playing in a real World Cup. So this is their World Cup. So that's why it feels like it's so very competitive. And so when I have that type of mind, when I referee, then I realize, you know, that, wow, this is something that they've been dreaming about as kids. And for them, this is their equivalent of a World Cup. And I know that currently the World Cup is on TV, but that's not the reason. It doesn't matter if the World Cup was on TV or not. It's just that whenever they're playing together like this as a team in a league and wanting to win a championship, well, this is their ultimate level of soccer. So that was one thing that really stood out to me. And the other thing that really stood out to me is a lot of the fouls as far as with the feet, if the soccer ball's missed and touching the other player, wouldn't have been called when I was playing soccer. You had to really knock someone or hit someone to have a penalty call, but now they want everything called. And so I actually like it. It's just making that adjustment just because that's not the way that I played soccer. I think it's better for the sport because it's a cleaner game and it takes more skill actually to do it. And I think it's the right direction. So that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to doing more of. And I hope you have a meaningful trigger. And I will be presenting or having another session on Thursday, which the first session on Thursday will be all about life, and the second session will be experiencing intelligent breakthroughs in your sports performance and life.